Hello everybody, welcome to my video. So as part of this group, I am here to report about religious ethics. So to emphasize furthermore about religious ethics, we have this knowledge about what really ethics is and what is religion. So there's like here in this topic there's a bit combination of what truly this topic really means. So I'm going to explain it to you further, a bit of reporting and also a little bit also of explanation. Okay? Okay, so as you can see here that religious ethics are the moral principles that guide religion rather that guide religions and that set up the standards for what is and what is an acceptable behavior. So particularly there are like the same like moral destinations of ethics and also for religion. The standard for what is and isn't acceptable behavior, the acceptable behavior. So surprisingly, familiar from one religion to the next, these fundamental principles flow from the core beliefs and ancient wisdom of religion as well as its teachers and traditions. So talking about furthermore about ethics, so probably the most frequently used source of individual ethics is religion. So yeah, particularly it's something like that we should give some moral aspect to ourselves based on what based based in our religion. Like it says, for example, it says there in the Bible that you should never do that. You should never do that. So it comes to your mind that particular thing is truly, it's actually really bad. So that it is. So the authority of religious ethics stems from a willful and rational God. See, so they do this for the sake of for the faith particular to the particular God that we're praising. So for believers, the authority of God's will is beyond question. That is right. And there is no need for further examination because of God's perfection. Okay? So there are four like conductions here of what truly other explanations of religious ethics. So religious ethics, of course, provides a basis for ethics because they offer an explanation of how to live a good life and address other philosophical issues such as what is reality. So basis here, there are some other people that they think that there is a not a linear articulation but a parallel movement of religion and ethics, but that is not the case here in my topic. I'm going to discuss here that the religion and ethics has this let's say that there is one main point of my one main point to know about particular moral perceptions or like ethics. Okay, so a religion must have a willful and rational God for a good figure before there can be judgment of right and wrong, and that is true. It is also thus providing a basis for an ethical system. So basically, so when you're talking about here, of course, you know that religion has, if you have religion, so you must have, let's say, a God that you'll be that you will put faith in, so that you would say that so that you could have not the prediction but the mindset of of the mindset of what is truly bad and what is truly right. And to gain that, it also provides an ethical system. And also, those religion that have a God figure consider that figure to be the source of principles of ethics and morality. That is one thing here that bases here in religion. We only base. There are other people or not other people who has this mindset that if you have the religion in yourself, particularly you can literally get the source there of like yeah you can literally get the source there of the principles and the ethics and the morality, the good and the bad, through the religion that you are obtaining to yourself, or the religion that you are having, or the faith of the faith of that you are having. If you don't have religion, maybe there is some aspect that you don't know truly what is the right and wrong. I don't believe to that kind of principle. Even though if you don't have religion, even though you have religion, you have the ethics. You have the ethics and the morality. Because when you grow up, I mean, when when you do the stages of life, the stages of you as an infant to an old person, um, you can literally possess the true meaning of ethics. That even though you don't know what ethic mean, what even though you don't know what really ethic means rather, sorry, ethic means, um, you did really use it. You did really like obtain it to yourself. You really did something about it, and you'll truly like you did it. You know what I mean? So particularly you did made that particular movement even though you don't know that it is actually ethics. Okay? So other explanations here that a fundamental question discussed by philosophers and religious scholars is whether God commands us not to commit an act because it is inherently wrong. Like for example, right? So one example here is thou shalt not kill. So this is according in the Bible, I think in the book of Exodus in the Bible. So there are some like commandments there that thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not covet adultery, something like that. There is a lot of not just the Ten Commandments that is hid there in the Bible. There is a lot of commands there, not just in the Ten Commandments. Because if you're going to read the Bible, the whole books inside the Bible, there is a lot of commands there. There's not just commands. There is a lot of, let's say, there is a lot of moral discussions, moral ethics there, and that is really true. Or whether an act acquires its badness or goodness solely from God's definition of it. This is a thorny issue that continues to be debated. Yes, because some would say that maybe you should not follow because what is really said in the Bible, maybe because that's not true in my perspective, and that is not also true to your perspective. So there's some like certain causes of debates and like some questions there. It is truly like that. And also another issue is how to determine God's will. Some believe that God is inviolable, and that positions on moral questions are absolute. And this is a legalist position. Others believe that God's will varies according to time and place, a situation's position. Right? So religious ethics, according to this position, situational factors that are important in determining the rightness of the particular action. Something may be right or wrong, and depending on the circumstances. Okay? So, for instance, lying may be wrong unless it is to protect an innocent, or stealing may be wrong unless it is to protest justice and to help the unfortunate. See, there is some really like instances. I forgot what's the term here in our subject, but there is something type of, I think I don't know if it's dilemma, but something that particularly it's truly like that. To that example, so some would say that it is impossible to have a priority knowledge of God's will because that would put us above God's law. We ourselves cannot be all knowing thus of any situation. If we are prepared to receive God's divine commands, we can know them through faith and conscience, and that is truly right. Because I believe though all of us have consciences ourselves. So through that conscience, we can truly know what is really wrong and what is really right. Because without that conscience, we cannot deliver the morality or the ethics of that particular thing that we are having. And also, so to end this discussion, so religious ethics are the moral principles that guide religious and that set the standards for what is and what isn't acceptable behavior. So we can literally agree to that. Surprisingly similar from one religion to the next, these fundamental principles flow from the core values and and ancient wisdom of religion, as well as teachers and tradition. So I already did said that earlier in this report. So hopefully everybody you did learn something um, from my report, which is this the religious ethics. So thank you.